Thank you for joining us, my friends. It is Sunday, the 20th day of June, 2010. We're going to be here live for the next 2 hours. I'm going to get into this giant stack of mainstream news openly announcing, but like it's no big deal, that the federal government is taking over the internet and free speech and will restrict free speech, including free speech supporting the Second Amendment. The news is that this is now mainstream news. I've been telling you for the last 2 years, at the end of Bush and now at the start of Obama, that all the federal agencies have been openly saying we've got to shut up the American people. They know they're doing things that are unconstitutional, that are criminal. There is a private offshore corporate takeover taking place in the United States right now. You think things are bad? You ain't seen nothing yet, as the adage goes. And so they need to shut us up. I have the Associated Press today with federal and state governments grabbing people's private pension funds and cutting government pension funds. Do you think they're going to let you have any voice while they financially gang rape you? The answer is no. This is hot tyranny, ladies and gentlemen. But finally, not cold, creeping tyranny anymore. Here's the Financial Times of London. FCC in move to regulate internet. And then I have the FCC quotes. This is outside of law, just a new regulation. I mean, I guess the FCC might have a new regulation that that your drapes have to be purple. Of course, they don't have that jurisdiction, but why not? If they don't have jurisdiction on this, how about the FCC says you got to wear blue underwear on Tuesdays? They don't have any jurisdiction to do that, but why not? I mean, how about we've all got to pay a internet and television tax to the FCC? Now, I'm not being sarcastic now. That is in a bill in Congress and in their new regulation, which they don't even need a law to implement, they claim, that you will pay a tax on your television set and your computer. Oh, what did Cass Sunstein 2 years ago as a Harvard lawyer write? Now the head of regulation, Obama's regulations are, he said, we will tax the alternative media into oblivion. We will then, in the next phase, arrest people for alternative views. These are quotes, ladies and gentlemen. What does his diversity czar at the FCC say? That Mao Zedong is good. That Hugo Chavez censorship of the media is good. This is really happening. Oh, you didn't think government would seize health care. And, of course, raise taxes, cut benefits, and all the pathetic Obama supporters are saying, where's my free, health care? You're not going to get any health care, okay? You understand that? Maybe an aspirin for a heart attack. You're going to live like they do in Cuba now. You're going to eat squid 3 times a day. You're going to have a Chavano in every corner telling you what to eat, how to sleep, who to talk to, what to wear, how long to work. You want to be a slave? You want daddy government, big brother government to wipe your hind end for you? They will, right after they hit you in the head with a baseball bat. You want to be a slave? Okay. You hate America? You want to go in the opposite direction of our founding fathers? You'll learn why that was a bad idea now. FCC in move to regulate the internet. Financial Times of London. Here's another one. Excellent Kurt Nimmo article from Infowars.com, but it links to the FCC announcements. It links to the mainstream news articles. It links to just scores of articles documenting all of this, so go read it for yourself. FCC stealth plan to censor internet content. I wouldn't even really call it a stealth plan. I mean, the Financial Times of London admits what it is. In order to control the internet and do so without much notice, the FCC has rolled a censorship plan into its net neutrality scheme under the fallacious rubric of consumer protection. The FCC is calling for the regulation of television and internet broadband. Kelly William Cobb, writing for Americans for Tax Reform, says, quote, the FCC would begin regulating internet access for the first time under a completely new regulatory scheme, even though they lack the authority to create it. Meanwhile, the FCC would push regulations cloaked in the heartwarming language of competition and innovation, mandating that your cable box, known as a set-top box, become a broadband gateway device controlling access to your internet, TV, and phone. The FCC has already started looking at a set-up box regulations in their national broadband plan. And then if you link through and actually read what they have announced on the FCC website, it says there'll be a tax on you for using the box. Just like for 50 years they've had a, on average, what, £200 a year or so tax for radio and TV in England. Oh, and they have actual people that go around in vans spying on you to see if you're watching TV or listening to the radio without paying your tax. You think I'm joking? Go look into it. That's actually what the FCC says. They said, like the BBC, a, quote, government megaphone. The media will now be taxed, and the money from it will fund government media in the U.S. openly. Under the FCC's regulatory control, consumers would be forced to buy an internet, TV, phone connectivity box that the government approves. Again, under the FCC's regulatory control, consumers would be forced to buy an internet, TV, phone connectivity box that the government approves. Everyone will pay rates for service that the government sets. And everything passing through your internet, TV, and phone would become subject to the FCC's constant regulatory whim, writes Cobb. It continues, the FCC's controlled television content for decades. If you want to know what the heavy hand of government will do to internet content, think of the absurd Janet Jackson incident and the government response. The government wants to make sure the flow of information is safe for consumption by the plebs. Broadcast and cable television do not offer an alternative to news and information provided by the corporate media. The FCC plan and government oversight of content would effectively kill off alternative news, information, and commentary. If the FCC gets its way, Obama will not need a kill switch, as he's now admitted they have, installed in the Oval Office. The internet will ultimately become a pale reflection of corporate-dominated television where there are hundreds of channels and nothing on. That is nothing that challenges the government and offers an alternative to the corporate media. Now, why is this so serious? Because you have a perfect storm of government megacorporations being exposed by alternative media, and you have mainstream media losing its ratings to the alternative media and literally dying, already in cardiac arrest, newspapers, TV, you name it, because the people's voice can't be heard there. Talk radio is old media. It's surviving because it's more electronic soapbox type format and long form. So internet's exploding, taking everything over. Talk radio is kind of merging with it and surviving. Everything else is dying. And so you have mainstream media, Time Magazine, Newsweek, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, all calling for internet censorship and to shut down and tax and regulate the alternative media because we're kicking their hind ends, ladies and gentlemen. When my articles get quoted by the Sydney Morning Herald and the Drudge Report and the Associated Press in the last week alone, the system is scared. When Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com receive millions of individual visitors a week and are exponentially growing, the system is scared. And they actually name me on MSNBC and imply that I'm trying to cause a violent overthrow of the government and that I need to be silenced and that my free speech is dangerous. Well, if they can knock off Matt Drudge and Alex Jones and Rush Limbaugh, they can knock anybody off. So understand, we are canaries in the coal mine, and we've all got to stand together or we will surely hang separate, as Thomas Jefferson said. But listen, I'm not done. Janet Napolitano, internet monitoring needed to fight homegrown terrorism. When you read the cybersecurity bill that's passed the House in the Senate, already being implemented without it being passed for the last 4 years under Bush and now Obama, giant NSA bases built all over the country, including one in San Antonio. San Antonio papers try to go cover it. Police come out and detain them or arrest them. This is on the news. You can watch those videos online. They openly say all internet service companies who have 100 or more customers must wire all their equipment through the government. Same thing, all your internet in your house will be wired through a government snooping, tracking, blocking system. Worse than communist China. I mean, folks, this is worse than communist China. There they just block it at the main ISPs. This is a block at the ISPs, but also in your house